Welcome back, my brave and beautiful humans, to another episode of Soul Hygiene. I have my wonderful new friend, Mr. Rick, here with us today. We got to have a really good discussion about a month ago, and I couldn't wait to get him on the podcast. Our time schedules kind of conflict a little bit, but we're finally here, and I'm excited for you to meet him. Mr. Rick does a lot of financial stuff and will help people with their financial futures. He is It looks like he's pretty much a genius when it comes to this stuff. So I would greatly rely on him and his expertise. But I'm excited because he told me he just got done doing a TEDx talk. So um, I'm really looking forward to him telling us all about it and how it went and getting to know Mr. Rick a little bit better. So welcome to the show, Mr. Rick. How are you today?
Thank you, TJ. I'm absolutely amazing. That's part of my TEDx talk was having a conversation about being amazing and inviting people to embrace their amazing. It was pretty fun. It was in Wilmington, Delaware, and yeah, if you ever have the opportunity to stand on a stage in front of people and pour your heart out, go for it.
I'm hoping in about a year. I'm quite emotional with my hormones right now. I don't think it would work out too well. But
Well,
uh,
it might go viral. That might be
uh,
why
yeah,
deprive yourself?
you
Yes.
never know. You never know. So your talk was about being amazing as a human. Can you give us just a little snippet? And then
Yeah.
I'll also put your TEDx talk in the bio so people can go watch it.
it'll it takes a month or longer for it to actually be published to the public. The the main part of the title is emotional currency.
Oh, I like that.
And what I brought forward is there's different ways that we connect emotionally. And emotional currency is different than money. So
Mhm.
money currency, the more you spend, the less you have. And with emotional currency, the more you give, the more you have. So as I fill your emotional account, I fill my emotional account.
I
And
love
it's
that.
very unique that way. Yes. And there's a universal language when it comes to emotional currency, which is the language of laughter.
Mm,
Being able
yes.
to get people to laugh and as you're doing now, throw a smile on your face and like, oh my goodness, right? A little chuckle comes
Yes.
right with it.
Yes.
And I was able to share a story of my interaction with a young man who was getting upset and frustrated. And we were doing a group event, and then he got frustrated enough that he um, removed himself from the group.
Mm.
And after a few minutes, I went and sat down with him, used some of my emotional skills, empathy skills, and the ability to make him chuckle.
Aw.
And he felt really quite what I would say recreated, not just heard but listened to.
Mhm.
And he and I bonded pretty newly that morning. And now he had a listening ear, a safe space. And next thing I know, he's telling me about all the troubles he's experiencing in life and at
Mm.
home and at school. And like, wow, you can't fix all those. And
Right.
you're in a safe space. Keep sharing, little man. It's fantastic. Mm.
I love that. I love that. It's so funny that you said that because in my private Facebook group this morning, I put the definition of communication is actually listening to hear, not reply, but to give somebody that ear to just let them talk and be a friend and just listen. So that's
Yeah.
amazing. I love that you got to spend that time with them. Yeah, and laughter is the best medicine, isn't it? I mean, I feel
It
like if you can make
is
somebody laugh, their troubles go away at least for a little bit, you know?
in that moment for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, give them something to reflect on and to anchor themselves to that moment. Given a little bit of skill set, a little bit of training, that young man can go back to sitting on that couch and chuckling,
Mhm.
right?
For sure.
Um, yeah, so that was pretty special, and that was kind of part of the core of my TEDx talk was sharing that story and tying that all back to emotional currency and being able to empower people to take their emotional currency and go out and spend it in the world and elevate people in the process. So the amazing Rick, when I meet somebody, my friends are starting to catch themselves, TJ. They'll, you know, that courtesy thing, you call yourself, you say,
Yeah.
"Hey, TJ, how's it going today?" And whatever people utter, they're pretty much ready to discount it and not listen.
Yeah.
And when they ask me that question, I go, "Well, amazing." They go, "Oh, I should have known." It's not that life doesn't deliver me the same opportunities it delivers you or anybody else. It's in the face of those opportunities, how do we respond?
Right.
So
That's so important.
it absolutely is. And I'm actually getting a sticker design. So at some point I'll share with you and your listeners, you can put it in the bio or something, how they can get their hands on one. Um, Basically it's the concept is down into my TEDx talk, I shared with people that they need to consider embracing they're amazing. So the sticker is says embrace your amazing. And the more people elevate and share that with themselves and donate it to the world, what fun to be able to toss a smile across the airport and have somebody catch it and go,
Yeah.
or interacting. Two favorite things, babies and dogs. See a baby who's having a tantrum or something, and I'll just look at them and pouty face or silly face or whatever. And next thing you know, they're like, who's that guy and what's he doing over there? Pulls anybody out of a funk.
Does. I love that about you. Oh, I love learning about you because you are amazing. So, I guess my question would be, after all of that, what is the definition of Mr. Rick? What makes Mr. Rick amazing?
Wow. That's a question I often struggle to answer. And I'm getting closer to something succinct. The one of the versions of it is I don't mind making big, unreasonable requests. We go out somewhere and something isn't going the way any of us want it to go. I'm more than willing to very politely approach somebody who can make that difference and ask them for their support. It, I've also been very effective at some communication that needed to be done within my own family. Um, Reuniting people into our family that had been removed and perhaps even ostracized and causing things like that to happen. One of my missions is to support people help themselves, those people who can't or won't help themselves, and in the process, leave them empowered to help themselves going forward.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, training and development ongoingly. Yeah, it's interesting. People get to share an Airbnb with me once in a while, and they'll say something that is less than empowered, and I'll time them out. And, maybe someday I'll be able to like, no, 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 no. We're not going there. Like, come on, I got you. I always got you. You always got you. like
That's
that.
awesome. So you're like a peacekeeper, negotiator, cheerleader, all of
Yeah,
those.
and somebody who disrupts the norm and will call somebody out for their bad act.
That's good.
I do my best to stay calm, cool, and collected about that. And there are times where the phrase I've learned is fiery, get a little hot under the collar, deliver the heat, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's always on a foundation of aloha, love.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm an advocate for myself, advocate for others, and in the process, people learn how to advocate for themselves and for others as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. And honestly, that's the only word I can think of. So we're
It
gonna go with that's
kind of
amazing.
runs with it, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I was just gonna ask you something. So back to the emotional currency, because I truly like those words. Um, those are the kinds of words that really reflect what soul hygiene's about. Um, because I always tell my listeners, you have to fill your cup first. You have to make sure you are full before you are giving all of yourself away to other people. So that would be like your emotional currency, but then you can give your emotional currency to others to help build theirs.
Yes, it's the proverbial put your oxygen mask on first. And wouldn't it be amazing if you simply had your oxygen, like if you're a fish with gills and you're pulling oxygen continually? One of my mentors talks about energy and energy work,
Hmm.
and I've met a few people who are energy workers who talk about being so drained after an energy session. And then I teach them something new that I was kind of surprised they hadn't learned yet, which energy is literally all around us.
Yeah.
We are made up of energy.
Hmm.
And if you're an energy worker and you're consider if you're an energy worker and you feel drained after an energy session, there's a distinctly different way of utilizing energy. So instead of depleting your body and your soul from energy, you can literally swoop the energy out of the air and flow it to that person.
Hmm.
So consider it's a concept of you being a battery of energy and tick, 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 your battery's getting lower, lower, lower as you get into the session. Like I'm looking for ways to articulate it. It's like, well, just plug them into the wall instead. Plug them into the universal energy that's all around us. Flow
Yeah.
that instead of your personal battery store.
Yeah. But sometimes I don't think that we think about that when we are dealing with people who truly need our help or truly want to be better or, just need that person to be on their side. We don't really think about how it's depleting us at the moment.
Right.
And that's a good lesson to take anyone to take with them is make sure you're full, your energy's up, before you're going into an area where you may be depleted. But I like that analogy of you like don't deplete yours. Let the energy around you, give them that energy. I like
Yes.
that analogy much better. I know for me when I have been doing my intentional healing journey for 5 years, and when I talk to people who are just such negative people, I did not know that concept, and so I am very drained, like so exhausted when I'm done talking to someone who's so negatively in their heads, and they can't see any positivity to life. It is very draining. And sometimes I don't even know what to do, when I'm done with that kind of situation.
It's interesting to be next to somebody like that and then being able to find the words to pull them out. Well, I have many things I've coined, many phrases. This one's pretty profound. I know in my heart, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that the words exist to accomplish anything you, TJ, set basically that you commit to accomplish. That the words exist to produce
Mhm.
that result. I have a long story behind that. There's one of the stories that's on my website about how that came to be. This person was dealing with a situation, and I said that to her, and she says, "Well, what are the words?" And I go, "Wait a second. I know in my heart, you must know in your heart and have that level of conviction and commitment. The
Mm.
moment you have that, the words will appear." It's like she goes off, and a couple of days later, she comes back and lets me know that the situation was resolved. She still won't share with me what the words were. The words had to be pretty profound because a stolen item was returned.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty interesting. But yeah,
I
language.
agree. I agree. Words are very profound. I know, like, these 2 words, soul hygiene, I got at 3 AM, almost audibly. Just I felt like I heard these words 2 years ago, and and here we are. Like, "Okay, if these are the
I
words,
love it.
this is my purpose. Let's figure out what they mean. Where do we go?"
I love it. it. I didn't create this phrase, but mental floss.
Hmm.
Use dental floss, mental floss. Clean
No,
out the chunks that are between your two ears, so to speak. Like,
I love that. That goes along with soul scrubbing. I That's what I call when people
I
go.
love it.
Yeah, when people have to, you gotta dig out all that negative stuff out of your soul to get to the good stuff. But I like that too, mental floss. I like that.
The thing that popped into my mind is one has to embrace where they are. If you resist where
Mhm,
you are, great, but don't embrace it and begin to identify. If you're identifying as it, you've lost your power. You've given it up to some other entity. I'm speaking to the choir. I'm 99.9% certain of that. Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because we've learned those things ourselves. So we're always speaking about ourselves when we're trying to help other people because 'cause we've had to learn those things as well. Yeah, those are the hard lessons. Yeah. But here we are, and I feel like both of us are in that space where we're just wanting to help people. And I love your, like, just laid back demeanor where you just what did I tell you before we started recording? I'm like, you just pivot. You're like that type of person, whoever needs you, if like, okay, I'm there. And I love that. I love that personality that you have. It's
Thank you.
definitely it's definitely needed in the world because I can tell you're a very compassionate person. So when you're talking to somebody, it comes from deep within you. You're telling them things that they really do need to hear, and it comes from a source deep within. So those are the
It
types of people
is.
that change the world.
I'm learning to embrace some of these language patterns. Like I got a download. Like, oh, what does that mean exactly? But something popped into your mind. Like, well, where did that come from before it was in your mind? And source,
Mhm.
source energy, higher self. One may use the word God, whatever, whatever one wants to identify with. But before that idea was in your mind, it was somewhere else.
Mhm.
Embracing that pretty wholeheartedly. Oh, I got a new download. TJ, oh, you won't believe it. Yeah, people should say amazing. Uh,
I usually just say I got a thought, but I don't know if I got a new download, the new thing.
Yeah, new download. Plot twist. That was a fun one, right? Plot twist.
Yep, I've used that before.
Yeah, because
Yep,
go somewhere and all of a sudden the world has delivered you something different than you were anticipating.
yep.
I have a dear friend. I don't know if you've met David Corsini yet or not, but
Nope, not
he's
yet.
he's in New Jersey, and I shared with him once. I figured out how to pivot, adapt.
Yep, yep.
Pardon me. One of the It's an interesting way, and I was. You ever go out? I'm assuming we've all gone out to a restaurant and had a less than 5-star experience. And
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was this one restaurant I would go to, and I would ask for my steak a certain way, and it would come out anything but that. And it's like, well, my challenge was I really like the people. I want to be around those
Mm,
people. And so in that moment, I learned something priceless, which is to lower my expectations. And that's triggering something new. There's three causes of upset. Uh, Unmet expectation, a thwarted intention. So you had an intention of going from A to Z and somebody
mhm.
stopped you. And then undelivered communication. So I can manage undelivered communications because I'll muster the courage to say what I need to say. And then unmet expectations, well, I was joking about this weekend at the TEDx talk, which is the one way to make sure your expectations aren't violated, set them on the ground where they're safe. Matter of fact, kick them under that couch so nobody even sees them or can possibly step on them. And then a thwarted intention, that one you really gotta go within. You either deliver the fix in the moment, have a conversation with whoever's thwarting your intention, or you
Yeah.
go within and resolve it internally. Yeah, lots of interesting lessons. They seem to be accelerating with time. I've been on this path since at least 20 or 2003. Probably started the day my son was born, 1986. So, but yeah, and they just seem to be coming at me faster and faster.
But if we're not growing and learning every day, what are we doing? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So I love learning something new every day. So today I have learned so much from you in this short conversation that I'll have to go back and actually take notes and write it down. But
But
I love that. I love learning and it will help me grow. You know, those are things that I will latch on to and carry, you know, the positive, the learning lessons that help you grow every day.
they
So
are pretty profound.
yeah.
There's one more thought. So there's those three causes of upset, and then there's only three healthy ways to deal with an upset. There's countless unhealthy ways, right? You can sit and stew in it and do all that stuff, but
Mhm.
the three healthy ways, one is to, in the moment, communicate appropriately with whoever is there that can resolve the issue and work through it with that person. Schedule a time to have that healthy dialogue. Or third, that go within. It's like they know not what they do, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Take
Ever
some deep breaths and forgive them because they don't know what they do.
yeah. And that's that. pops into my mind the Ho'oponopono process. My mentor, there's several people that teach that, but YouTube, Dr. Matt James, Ho'o, so H-O-O, Pono, Pono, 7-minute exercise. Let go of that stuff you need to let go of. And I forgive you. Please forgive me.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. That is profound. I mean, for some people, forgiveness isn't even a word that can cross their lips, but it's one of the things we
Agreed.
have to do every single day.
Well, and I understand those souls that maybe they had a
Yeah.
really tragic experience, and the hard part is the holding on to it, regardless of how tragic it was and how inappropriate it might have been. Holding on to all of that negative energy is you drinking poison, expecting the other person to die.
Yeah.
So maybe
You're
that's what
just
soul
hurting
hygiene is all
yourself.
about. Yeah,
It
yeah.
is. You hit it right there on the head there. Yep.
Very
Yeah.
exciting.
I love it. Well, we're definitely going to have to do another episode because I absolutely love how you just like articulate these points that completely fit with soul hygiene. I think it's something that people need to hear. Like I said, if we're putting that out there and they can learn from it, like I just learned from you, that is amazing.
So
And
cool.
completely fits your name.
If I could introduce you to anybody, who would you want to meet?
Who would I want to meet?
Yep.
Living or dead?
Let's go with living because I could still somehow facilitate you meeting that person. The other one is like going to a gravestone is not quite so much fun.
I um honestly would have to think about the living part. I know who I'd want to who is passed on, but
Well, then who
there
would
are
that
a
be?
few. I mean, I would have loved to meet Jesus when he was
Oh, yes.
walking on the earth just to get, you know, perspective of where he was at that time, you know. Um
Absolutely. Brilliant person.
yes, I would have loved to do that, but I think I haven't really thought about one person. There are a few people who I would like to meet. And one, honestly, and you may laugh at this, but I would love to sit down with her and talk to her, is Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton. That's
And
not out of the realm. That's yeah.
I feel like someday it may happen. And because she is such a person of confidence, but compassion and kindness, and she has kept her character about her, being in an industry where that can be taken away from you just with one thing that you do wrong, you know? I
Yes.
can't ever see anything ever being said about her when I look back. Everyone just loves her, and I would just love to get her perspective how in an industry the way it is, have you survived all these years with no negative, you know, feedback? But she is such a compassionate and kind person. I think I would like to meet her when it comes to, people like that. And, you know, I'm not really a person who grew up looking up to superstars or movie stars or singers, or that really wasn't anything we were taught. We really didn't have a TV for the longest time. So I didn't really grow up that way. But I think just anyone who truly has a soul for people is already a star in my book, you know? And I can learn from anyone who has that kind of spirit and that kind of compassion. And I know I'm on a learning journey, so I don't know if there's really one major star or person that I would want to meet, but I would just like to talk to anyone who has that kind of soul for people, you know?
That would be fun to get Dolly on your podcast.
It would be. I would absolutely love that. Just to be able to talk to her and talk about her life, how she has survived all these years. She's getting up there in age, but she sure doesn't look like it.
She seems like a pretty brilliant lady. I've not yet had
Yes,
the pleasure to meet her, but I would agree with you. She's a soul to be reckoned with.
she is. She is. Brilliant businesswoman. Um, wow, the years that she has been doing what she's doing, right? And the lives she has changed. I mean, yeah. So I think that would probably be my answer right now.
That's cool. Well, we will begin to work on that.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yes, for sure. But as we're ending the episode, is there an email or a website where people can go to reach out to you?
Yes. Well, theamazingrick.com definitely gets to me.
Okay.
And it's got all my contact information on it. So they could set up, somebody wants to reach out and say hi, they're more than welcome to. There's a link to my calendar and jump on my calendar and let's see where we go from there. All good.
Wonderful. Oh,
Oh,
wonderful.
I have one more thing, one more
Yes.
surprise. So, last Friday while I'm traveling to Wilmington, I committed to teaching NLP course, neuro linguistic programming course,
Oh, okay.
here in the Sacramento area in July. I'm going to do a 5-day course. I want it to have a lot of practical application to people in their lives. So this will be July. It's Wednesday, July. What is that? The 25th. Wednesday the 24th, and then 4 more days after that. So it goes Wednesday to Sunday. And they'll learn
Wonderful.
profound communication skills with each other they can apply in their life. So, like
Wonderful.
that.
That does sound amazing. So, is that information on your website or I'll get the link from you if there's a separate link and we'll put it in the bio and
Let's go that route. There'll be a link in the
yeah.
next couple of days. So
Okay.
yeah.
We'll definitely put it there so people can sign up and if they're in that area. And
Thank
then
you,
once your
TJ.
TEDx talk comes out, we will edit the video and drop that link in there as well because I really want people to see you having your TEDx talk.
Oh, it's going to be
So
fun. I'm really quite happy with how it turned out.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see everyone's. I know there were a lot of them that I know that did the TEDx talk. So I'm excited. It's on my bucket list. So one of these days we'll get there. But it's been such a blessing to have you on this show. Thank you so much for taking the time. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for another episode of Soul Hygiene. We will see you later.